Hello, so here we are asked, at what values of x does the graph of this function y is equal to 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 120x plus 1 have a horizontal tangent? Well, the tangent line to a graph is given by the derivative, right, of our function. And if the tangent line is horizontal, well, that means that the slope of the tangent is 0, right? Think about just a horizontal line. What is the slope of a horizontal line? Well, the slope of a horizontal line is 0. So when the slope of the tangent line is 0, that's going to give us a horizontal tangent line. So all we got to do is look at the function here. Y is equal to 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 120x plus 1. Is go ahead and take the derivative of that, and that's going to be pretty simple because the derivative, y prime, is just going to be equal to, well, the derivative of 2x cubed is just a 3, jumps down. We have 2 times 3, which is going to be 6, and then times x to the 3 minus 1. So we get 6x squared, and then the derivative of 3x squared is going to be, well, 3 times 2, so we get a plus 6x to the 2 minus 1, so just plus 6x, and the derivative of 120x is just minus 120, and the derivative, well, of 1 is just going to be 0. So the derivative here, y prime, is 6x squared plus 6x minus 120. And if we want to find where the slope of the tangent line is 0, meaning the tangent line is going to be horizontal, we just go ahead and take the derivative here and set the derivative equal to 0. And then just find the values of x that make the derivative 0, and this is going to be pretty simple. We could just divide everything by 6 right away, or, I mean, we could move over the 120, and we get 6x squared plus 6x is equal to positive 120. We could factor a 6 from the left and get 6 times, well, 6 times x squared is 6x squared, and 6 times x, so plus x, is going to give us 6x. Is equal to 120. If we divide through by 6, well, 6 over 6, that cancels, becomes 1. 6 goes into 12 twice, so 6 goes into 120, I guess, 20 times. So we just get x squared plus x is going to be equal to 20. So now we have a quadratic. We can just go ahead and set our quadratic here equal to 0. Subtracting 20 from both sides, we get x squared plus x minus 20 is equal to 0. So we have a quadratic now in standard form equal to 0. There's a few methods we can go ahead and use to solve this. We can, of course, always use the quadratic formula, but typically we want to try to factor if we could. That's typically going to be the easiest method, and looking at this, I think this is going to factor pretty nicely, because x squared plus x minus 20, well, if that factors, it's going to factor into two binomials, and we say, well, x squared, that's going to be, it has to be x times x, and then what times what is 20? Well, 5 times 4 is 20, and the difference of 5 and 4 is 1, so I think this is going to factor as we need a 5 here and a 4. We need opposite signs to get to a negative 20. Since we have a positive x in the middle, I guess we need x plus 5 and x minus 4, right? We can go ahead and check that by distributing, and we get x times x, so x squared, and then x times negative 4 is negative 4x, and then plus 5 times x. So we get x squared minus 4x plus 5x. That combines to give us a plus 1x, and then 5 times negative 4 is indeed negative 20. So that's factor. That's still going to be equal here to 0, and then, well, now we're multiplying. We're multiplying two things together, two factors, and we're equal to 0. So at least one of the factors must be 0. So if x plus 5 is 0, well, that means that x is going to be equal to negative 5, or if x minus 4 is 0, that would imply that x is equal to positive 4. So therefore, the values of x here that are going to give us horizontal tangents, meaning the derivative is going to be equal to 0. The values of x that make the derivative 0 and give us horizontal tangents are going to be x is equal to either negative 5 or x is equal to 4. Calculator, take care.